Hey guys, it's Emmanuel here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how to know a ticket is going to be profitable before you buy it. If you're a ticket reseller, new to ticket reselling, and you've been thinking about getting into the business, probably know that buying the right ticket is really important. Buying the wrong ticket can cost you hundreds, thousands, and you don't want to make losses, you want to make wins. So I'm going to show you the tools and tactics that I use on a day-to-day basis that allow me to scale my ticket reselling business way past $30,000 every single month. Hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to know if a ticket is profitable before you buy it. Tools that I use such as Instagram, ChatGPT, Spotify, and a few others. Mindset is really important in all areas of business, but it's also very important in ticket reselling. Most beginners lose money with ticket reselling because they're too emotional. They use their own emotions to decide whether a ticket is profitable or not. But that's not the case. You can't just think just because you like that artist, everybody else is going to like that artist and the tickets are going to do well on the resale market. That's not the case a lot of the time. Profitable ticket resellers look at numbers. We look at analysis and data, the post engagements, the likes, the follows, the streams, the performance of their last tour, how long ago they toured, etc. Because numbers don't lie. You know, you can use these numbers, these factors I just mentioned, you can use them to make sure that the tickets are going to be profitable. There's demand for these tickets, the event is going to do well. You can use these factors to decide whether the tour is going to be a flop or the tour is going to explode. So before every ticket purchase, always ask yourself if there's data that supports that the demand for this concert is not going to be able to meet the supply. If the answer to that question is yes, then that's a green light. However, you can't just trust numbers that you see on the screen to decide whether the tickets are going to be profitable or not, because record labels and artists have been known to buy likes, buy streams, etc. So you can't just use this as a deciding factor when buying tickets. That's the whole point of this video. I'm going to show you other tactics and methods that you can use to make sure that you're getting accurate information before you're buying the tickets. I use social media every single day, just like you do. However, I use social media to decide whether my tickets are profitable or not before I buy them. And you can use these apps such as Instagram. I've used Reddit in the past, TikTok, Twitter. I've even got a few videos where I've used social media on my laptop and shown you guys as well. You can use social media to make money with your ticket reselling business, because all these social media platforms have one thing in common, which are numbers. Numbers don't lie. Well, numbers can be false, but you can use them as some sort of guidance. For example, when an artist releases a tour announcement, you can see how many likes they've got. You can see the comments, what the comments say. If people are saying, oh, they're not going to get tickets, they really want to go get tickets, they can't find tickets, etc. If the topic is they have to get tickets, etc., that's a really good sign that there's demand for that event. So I'm going to show you like a real example of a recent tour announcement on Instagram. I'm going to show you how I use this to see if the demand was there or not. So I'm going to use Instagram. So I'm going to show you guys how I use Instagram to help me validate the demand for this tour that's not even released yet. It's releasing in about 2 days. So I'm going to show you how I knew that this event is going to be good, and I sent it into my Discord to make sure that you can sign up for the pre-sale and make money with this next week. So the first thing is the announcement. Even though the likes are hidden here, you can see the announcement is doing good. I can see some of the comments. People are saying, oh, come to my city. Oh, I'm going to have to fly here, etc. And since the likes are not showing there, I'm going to go on Google Chrome. So you can see here, the likes are 302K. That's a great sign already that there's demand for this show, there's interest for this show, people are interacting with the post. He's also releasing an album as well, so that's gonna play into the hype, that's gonna increase the hype as well. So this is just some analysis I've done in like a few minutes that you could have done as well to make sure that the tickets are going to be high in demand. So the comments as well, people already experiencing FOMO when the event has even happened. People are already thinking emotional that they need to go and see Dave to go. And another thing is, this was a show that is like a comeback show. He's not toured or released the album, and I can't remember how many years, but it's a lot of years. It's a lot of years that he's not released the album. So many rappers are co-signing the album, etc. So it's like a comeback, like the Oasis tour that I made $10,000 off. It was a reunion tour, it was a comeback, even though this is not as big as Oasis, but it's also got the same emotions to it, tied to it. People just want to see him come back to the stage. So with that being a factor, and the fact that the interactions on Instagram are really good, and this post is also on Twitter, the reactions were on that, I saw that as well, that was also really good as well. So Twitter and Instagram I used, and the fact that it's a comeback tour, another thing that I used to make sure that the tickets are going to be profitable and high in demand. So this is an example of me using Instagram to make sure that tickets are going to be high in demand. So before you buy any tickets, once you hear about an event or you've been told about an event, go to the artists or comedian or UFC, whatever it is, go to their Instagram, look at the announcement, look at the reactions, look at the engagement, and look at the numbers, because numbers are really good deciding factors on whether the tickets are going to be profitable or not. So when Dave now releases that album on, when did he say he's releasing it? On 24th of October, so in about a week. When he released that album, it's gonna do really well because he's not released in a long time. But the numbers of that is also gonna be a really big deciding factor on whether the tickets are gonna be good or not. So I can see the performance of that album by going to Billboard, by going to the Apple Music charts, by going to the Spotify charts. I can see where it's streamed most, and I can see maybe if it's London or where else is he performing? Dusseldorf. If he's good in Dusseldorf, then maybe Dusseldorf tour date, because he's performing in Dusseldorf. If the album is number one in Dusseldorf, then obviously Dusseldorf tour date is going to do really good as well. Or if it's number one in London, London's going to do really well. Now, if we take another look at the tour announcement, we can see the dates. So you can see the multiple cities performing in, and you're probably wondering, like, how do you know which city to go for? So first things first, London, the UK ones are the best to go for, first of all, because he's from the UK. So most of the time they get the most love, or they're streamed the most in their hometown. So so first of all, we're gonna narrow down to London, Birmingham, Manchester. We're gonna narrow down our selection to that. Then another thing we can do is go to Spotify. Spotify is another tool that we can use to make sure that the tickets are going to be high in demand. So this is Dave. You can see his monthly listeners nearly 15 million. That's already a great indicator. Then let's go on Dave's thing. So monthly listeners 50 million. Where is he streamed the most? London. So his biggest fan base is in London. 1 million fans in London, and the capacity of the stadium is probably not even up to 100,000 that he's performing in. So that's 900,000 listeners that can't get tickets. They have no other choice but to go to resellers like me and you to go and get these tickets. So Spotify is another thing that you can really use to your advantage to check if the tickets are high in demand or not. So now when we go back to the tour date, we're probably going to go for London, aren't we? Because he streamed the most there. Then the next pick could be Manchester, because Manchester's not far from London, and Manchester's the last day. So people are going to get extreme FOMO saying, okay, that's the last day. That's my last opportunity. When next is he touring? The last time he toured was years ago. When next is he coming back? I need to pay whatever price to go to Manchester and go and see Dave in Manchester, because that's his last day. And a lot of the time, the last day is the one that they go all out on. They bring out the guests. They bring out probably like some of the hometown legends as well. So these are factors that really go into play when ticket reselling. So Spotify and social media, those are two tools I just showed you to make sure the tickets are high in demand. So even though I just mentioned Spotify, I'm gonna do a deeper dive into that. So because I just briefly touched upon it, so I'm gonna do a deeper dive into that right now. So let me get back on the laptop. So I showed Dave. So Dave is one. Then let me use another one. So who else could I use? Ariana Grande. Okay. Ariana Grande, or where is it? Ariana Grande, I'm using her because I just made a lot of money off her, really. A lot of resellers made money off her because she's doing a comeback tour to the UK. And why these tickets were really good was she's really popular, of course, but the UK one is doing really good because the last time she was in the UK was when I think some disaster happened when she was last in the UK. So that was many, many years ago. So apart from the disaster happening, not seeing her fans in a really long time, her fans not seeing her, there's an emotional aspect to it, and they really want to see her again. They want to. Some artists, some fans have been born after that, and they've never even seen her face to face. So that's another emotional factor. But we're gonna go to her about page on Spotify. So you can see her monthly listeners. That's already a great sign. She's got 84 million monthly listeners. So that's obviously huge already. She's a star. But let's go to her listeners, where have most of her listeners relocated? Number two is London. And where is she performing? London. What does that mean? The demand, the fan base, everything is crazy in London. Where is she performing? London. Where are the fans? London. It speaks for itself already. You can use Spotify to make money, guys. You don't need a Spotify subscription. You can see in the top corner, it's asking me to log in. I don't need a Spotify. This is completely free to use. You can use Spotify to make sure that tickets are high demand before you buy them. You can do this with every single artist that's out there. Just go to their about page, see if the top 4 cities are the same as where they're performing. If London's the best and that she's performing in London, go for London. Dave, I just showed you, most of his fans are in London. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go for London, you know? And if you miss London, then you can go for Manchester because that's not far from London and that's the last day. So yeah, guys, there's a lot of things that go into play with this. And it's not that hard. You just need to know about this. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to just shed a light on what you could do in your spare time and how you can generate thousands per month with your ticket reselling business by just utilizing your spare time correctly. The momentum of the artist or anything that's happening, if it's a UFC event, if it's two anticipated fighters that are fighting, momentum matters a lot when it comes to this because people base their lives off hype. Some people just go for the latest trend, they go for what's trending, they go for what's trending on TikTok, what's trending on Instagram, what other people are interested in. A lot of people don't actually decide for themselves. So you need to look at hype. You need to look at how an artist is performing when they're releasing their tour dates. If they're releasing their tour dates after an album, then you need to look at how that album's performing. You can go to Billboard, you can go to the Apple charts, you can go to Spotify, check if it's number one and where it's number one. If it's number one in Germany and they're going to Germany and they're doing a European tour and one of the dates are in Germany, why not go for Germany? That's obviously the ones where people listen to him the most or her. So look at the momentum of the artist when buying the tickets. If the album's performing poorly in certain areas, then you're not going to go for the tour dates that are in that area. If the album's performing poorly in general, where it's extremely low numbers, then that's obviously a great factor not to go for the event at all. Or if the artist hasn't dropped any music in years, that's also another factor that the event is really high risk and you shouldn't go for it. But there's exceptions for that. For example, if it's a reunion tour or it's a comeback like Oasis or maybe a really big artist, but even some really big artists can surprise you. They're not really that profitable. For example, The Weeknd, he is not that profitable anymore because he performs so much. Even if he doesn't release any music, his tour dates are just oversaturated because nobody cares to see him because they can see him anytime. It's like the value of a lot of precious stuff is the fact that you can't get it that easily. If you can get a concert really easily, it's not going to be really high in demand, you know? Many fans hear the words reunion, return, or comeback, and they get emotional. They start thinking about their youth. They start wanting to go out, reunite with their friends, go for a tour. They become nostalgic, you know, and that can fuel their emotions to spend so much on the tickets. So I briefly touched up on this with Dave, but now let's talk about it properly. The location matters a lot. If it's your hometown of the artist, then that's a really good chance that the tickets are going to be profitable. For example, Beyonce, not recently, that was at the start of the year when they released, but Beyonce, Houston, Texas performed the best because I believe that's her hometown in comparison to Chicago where she was performing as well. Hometown of the artist is usually a guaranteed sellout. So if there's many days to select from when an artist is going on tour, look at the ones that is their hometown. It can just be a quick Google search. You can ask, where's Dave from? Where's Taylor Swift from? Where's Drake from? And Google's going to tell you, and you can see that on the tour date and go for that as well. The number of tour dates that are happening is a big factor as well. If there's a lot of tour dates, then the market may be oversaturated. It's not that special to see him, and you might want to skip it because value is brought in the scarcity, you know? If the event is just one night only. The Weeknd was doing that not long ago when he was doing one night only, and that was really good because it was just one night only. You know, there was no other opportunity to see it, and that's why the last day of the tour usually does really well because that's the last opportunity to go and see the favorite artist. Weekend shows, the weekend, the dates of the show really matter. If the show is on the weekend, and that usually means that people are more available to go and see them. You know, I'm not talking about the artist the weekend. I'm talking about Saturday, Sunday, Friday. If the days of the shows fall on those days, then People don't have work the next day, they don't have school, they can afford, they have the time to go and see the concert, you know. So people normally target those days because it's known to let your hair down, have fun on the weekend. So weekend days always do better than weekdays. If with the Dave shows, when he on the announcement, you can just search what days like 7th of March falls on. And if it's a Sunday, if it's a Saturday, then that usually means go for it. Friday and Saturday obviously do better than Sunday because Sunday, the next day is a Monday. The venue size also matters. The smaller the venue usually means the higher the demand because less people can get into it. If it's an arena tour and the artist is doing a lot of arenas, then it really accustoms for the demand because let's say it's in a 80,000 capacity arena and there's 10 days, that's 800,000 fans that can go and see their favorite artist. They don't really feel the need to have to go to resellers. There's usually enough supply on the primary sources like Ticketmaster, etc., for them to go and buy the tickets off them directly. They don't really need us. So look at the venue sizes before you buy the tickets. I know Red Rocks does really well all the time because the venue size is really small in comparison to Wembley, etc. A really big artist are the only artists that have the capacity to sell out Wembley. Not many people can really sell out arenas like Wembley, Madison Square Garden, etc. Smaller venues with high demand artists sell out quickly. So the sweet spot with ticket reselling is high demand artists, small venue, limited dates, weekend shows. That's your jackpot combo when ticket reselling. If the criteria are met, then that usually means that the ticket is going to be high in demand and profitable. Here's something people don't really know about. You can actually use ChatGPT to make money with ticket reselling. I don't use it that much because I don't really need to. I like to do it manually because I've been doing this before ChatGPT was popular. But you can use it. And let me give you an example. Like, okay, Dave just announced a show. When last did Santan Dave release an album? He released the album in 2021, 4 years ago, and he's releasing the album next week. And he's also releasing his tour dates next week. So, you know, that shows it's like a comeback. He's not released in like 4 years. Most artists release every single year. So his fans are starving for a show and an album. So that's just one factor that the demand is really good. But we can actually do some really cool stuff with this. Where is he streamed the most? London. Okay. United Kingdom is the best. So the United Kingdom dates are gonna usually be the best. But you can go in depth with this. So it doesn't even have the updated. It doesn't have it updated. That's why I don't really use ChatGPT as much. But it's ChatGPT. You can use it just as extra confirmation of the numbers and stuff. So it doesn't even have the venue dates. Okay. When last did he go on tour? Early 2022, following his album release. Did he sell out shows in the UK? So 2022 was his last tour, early 2022, so over 3 years ago. He sold out shows in the UK. Early in his career, he sold out shows, and that's early. That's before he had hits as much as now. He sold out at O2. The O2 is probably where he's performing now because most of them tour in the O2. Yeah, he sold out UK arenas in early 2022, and that's before the hype build. That's before it was a comeback. So that alone shows that okay, this next tour is going to be really high in demand. So ChatGPT has told me that he saw that in the past, and I can use that to improvise to as a form of analysis to know that his next tour is also going to be profitable as well. So there's more questions you can ask. You can ask all sorts. Is his next tour likely to sell out? Okay. I've just asked ChatGPT, is his next show likely to sell out? Both responses. I don't know why it's giving me two responses. But anyway, so yes, it's likely to sell out. Dave's previous UK tour, early 2022, sold out major venues. And this time he's got a hit song that was out not long ago. I think it was 2 years ago with Central C. And that's in London. So he's obviously going to bring Central C out. So Central C out. So Central C fans are obviously going to be interested in this show so they can hear his song with Dave as well. So There's a lot of factors. So this show is going to be really, really good. I really hope I can post this video before the tour is out so a lot of people can make money with this. But it's going to be really good. It's giving you the price range as well. This is, you can't really get this much in much of a places. ChatGPT is giving you the price range of the last tour, the artist track record, sold out major arenas and shows in the past, significant demand, general sale. It's giving you the general sale, the pre-sale as well. So you can ask ChatGPT to tell you when these events are happening, when the tickets are being released, and you can set the alarms based off what ChatGPT is giving you. So as I mentioned, Oasis was a recent example that I can give. That was a reunion tour. Even though they released no album or no comeback album, etc., that was an exception because that's a huge reunion and they performed really well in the UK, Manchester to be specific, because that was their hometown and that's where most of their listeners are from. I used Spotify. I didn't even need to use Spotify. That was just a hit straight away. The numbers on their reunion tour announcement was huge. It was everywhere. It was on all the news. It was on the blogs. It was on Billboard. It was on Twitter. It was viral on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, etc. It was big. There was not much analysis needed for that because it was a huge announcement. And I went for Manchester because that was their hometown, and that call was great because Manchester performed better than every other city that they were performing in. They made like £500 million from that tour. So insane, completely insane. That was a huge hit that a lot of resellers made money from. And another example is Ariana Grande. That was recent. I've so far made over like $11,000 from that so far, and I've not sold all the tickets yet. I sold one ticket this week as well for £500, and I bought those tickets for around 75 each. So that's what is it, £425 profit per ticket, and that's crazy. That's two tickets is 850, and that's like $1,300 off two tickets profit. So it's crazy the demand. And the reason that was big was because it was a comeback announcement. She hadn't performed in the UK for a long time. I've mentioned this before, but I'm just explaining how different factors can mean different things for events. She didn't need to release an album, but why Dave is going to be really, really good is because it's a comeback and he's also releasing an album and he's also had a hit song that was a feature not that long ago with an artist that's also in London. And I showed you the tools that I use. I showed you how Instagram had a lot of likes, had a lot of engagement. I showed you how his album's coming out. I showed you how his listeners on Spotify are mostly based in the UK, London to be specific, and he's also performing in the UK. And London is also his hometown. So these are all massive factors that I know for sure I'm going to make a lot of money off his tickets. I've already signed up to the pre-sale. And if you looked at a caption on that Instagram post, you saw that the pre-sale access was explained how you can get access to it. You could sign up to it in his bio. So that's something you could just have seen, signed up to. You can make money off in a few days. The tickets have not released yet. So I'm going to show you my actual Discord. So where the money is actually made, where I make people money with this. So if you're in the Discord, you don't actually need to do all this analysis yourself. And there's a lot more analysis that goes into it. There's systems that I've built over the past 5 years. There's teams that I've built. It's not just me that's working with this. I've got a team that helps me find events, that helps me analyze, that I hop on calls with, etc. And I've invested a lot of money to make sure that tickets are always high in demand. And I also give the same events to the members of the Discord, the members of the program where the money's made. So let me show you like an example of an event that was in my Discord. So Beyonce. So I've announced Beyonce, same way I'm gonna announce Dave in the next couple of days. But I've already put the link for Dave for my students so they can sign up and have access to it when the ticket's released. So the first things first for the analysis, I highlight the specific places to go for on the arena or wherever she's performing. Then I tell you the focus, etc. I give you the resale market so you can check how much the tickets are being resold for. And that's another factor I didn't mention, that you can actually check the resale market of the event that you're going to buy tickets for and see how much people are reselling the tickets for already. And you can use that as an indicator on whether to buy the tickets or not. For example, Rush tickets were releasing this week. Artist called Rush. And what I did, I went to StubHub and I was buying this exact section 200. I ended up actually buying these, and I was checking the demand for these tickets whilst the tickets were in my cart for a few minutes. and nobody can buy those tickets whilst they're in my cart. So what I do, I put tickets in my cart and I use a lot of tactics whilst the tickets are there before I buy them. So one of them I used were StubHub. I checked StubHub and the tickets were costing around $300. And I saw on StubHub they're selling for around $570 each. So that's $270 profit per ticket. So that's obviously a great indicator to buy the tickets, and they're in my cart. So if it's showing me that people are selling at a loss, I'll just not buy the tickets, and that stops me from making losses, But I saw that people are making nearly $300 per ticket, so I went ahead and bought the tickets. And I've not listed these tickets yet, but I'm sure when I list them, they're gonna sell in minutes. So that's another thing you can use. So let me go back to the Discord. I got distracted a bit. So that's another factor, guys. Resale market. Always use the resale market before you buy the tickets, because people can list tickets early or people got insider tickets, etc. So the links for each specific city, you can see Houston, Texas there. And that's what I mentioned before. Houston, Texas was the best for Beyonce because that was her hometown. And that you can see the common trend here. Artists usually perform best in their hometown. And you can also go on Spotify, check Beyonce's profile, check where she streamed the most, etc. So let's actually recap how to know if a concert or event is going to be profitable before we buy the tickets. Number one, check social media. Instagram, Twitter. I've used Reddit in the past. Don't be shy to use Reddit, TikTok, etc. Use these social medias to check the demand for the event before you buy it. Don't just use social media to scroll, just waste your time. You can actually use that same amount of time to make money to find high demand events. Number two, look at Spotify. The Spotify I showed you with my own laptop, I've shown you exactly how this works. You can use Spotify to check the about page, check where the artist is streamed the most. And you can even skip Spotify and just use ChatGPT. That's number three, ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT to check the analytics, the data of the artist, where he's trending the most, where he's streamed the most, or he or she, where they streamed the most, how the last tour performed, how their last album performed, how their current album is performing, etc. The prices, the release date and times, ChatGPT can tell you all of this and can use that to make sure that the tickets are going to be profitable. You can use that as a form of analysis because numbers don't lie, guys. Number four, review momentum. Look at the momentum of the artist. If their album's performing well, the engagement on their posts, the comments. Look at if people are begging for tickets in the comments. Look at if people are panicking that they're not going to get tickets in the comments, etc. You can use all these as factors to decide whether the event is going to be profitable or not. Number five, consider local factors. Is the artist performing in their hometown? Like London is going to be the best because he's streamed the most in London. Most of his fan base is in London and that's his hometown as well. So a hometown usually always performs best for artists. Number six, and if you want to really scale with ticket reselling and you want a reliable source of worldwide events, Asian events, Australian, USA, EU, UK. If you want all of that to be notified every single day, then and you're serious about actually scaling with ticket reselling, then you can apply to my group in the description below. I guarantee all my students 5K in 90 days or less, or they get a complete refund. And that's just my guarantee to all my students because I believe if you actually qualify for this program and you put in the work, there's nothing stopping you from making 5K with this in 90 days or less. So if you're actually interested in that, then just apply in the description below. If you want to see some of the success from me and some of my other members, I've got a 17-year-old student, I've got a 19-year-old student that have crossed over like 10K every single month. If you want to see that for yourself, you want to see some of the testimonials, then you can watch them on my channel or you can join the free Discord in my bio that you can see the testimonials for yourself as well. Also, I have a lot of free videos on my YouTube that will inform you exactly how to start a ticket reselling business, how to scale a ticket reselling business, and how to make money consistently with this. If you feel like this video actually helps you and you feel like more confident in buying tickets and making sure that you're going to be buying profitable tickets and you feel like you're taking less of a risk when ticket reselling, then hit the like button, subscribe for more videos. I've got 2 full courses on my YouTube channel. Each of them are around 1 hour long. And I've got lots of knowledge that I've given away for free on my YouTube channel. So I could help other beginners and even some more seasoned ticket resellers actually scale with ticket reselling because this business completely changed my life. And I'm just shedding a bit of light on this for a lot of people to benefit from this because I know a lot of people can benefit from this because I've changed a lot of lives with this in my own mentorship. So I feel like if I just put out a bit of the knowledge out there, a lot of people can stop trying rubbish business models that are going to lose them a lot of money. And hopefully this is your gateway to online money and success. So Yes, I'm Emmanuel. I'm a ticket reseller. I resell concert tickets for a living, and I'm just sharing some of the knowledge and changing lives with it right now as well. So remember to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm always active in the comment section, replying any questions. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the video.